Okay, we are officially live. I'll give it a few moments for people on socials to jump in the stream. Hope everyone had a good holiday, good Christmas, good New Year's. What's up, Nikki? Good to see you. Helen's here. Got people piling into the socials right now. Streaming on X, YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Welcome, everyone. Did y'all miss me? It's been kind of light on earnings streams the past few weeks. There wasn't really any companies reporting anything during the Christmas break and New Year's. 2 short weeks in a row. SPY made a new all-time high today. New all-time high is now 691.9. Let me move this down. 692.31 is the new all-time high on SPY on the daily chart. All right, so we got 2 companies reporting earnings. We got ticker symbol ticker symbol PENG, which is Penguin Solutions. They're trading at, they closed the regular session at $21.58. And just a little bit about them. They are a semiconductor company. Okay, so it's their end-to-end technology company. Company's advanced computing segment under its Penguin Computing and Stratus brands offers specialized platform solutions and services for artificial intelligence, high-performance computing, machine learning, advanced modeling, and the Internet of Things that span the continuum of edge, core, and cloud. Okay, they going into the earnings, they had a positive PE ratio. Let me see, AAR Corp. Why does the description say Airbus or something? Yeah, that's a typo then. But yeah, AAR Corp. That's the other one reporting. But PENG, positive PE, positive EPS. They do not pay a dividend. Free float 51 million. Let's see if they're profitable. We got a few minutes to burn here. Both companies supposed to report at 4:05 p.m. Eastern, so we got a few minutes. But past 4 quarters in a row, they have been profitable. This is for PENG. Thank you also 28 Destroy on X for pointing that out. I appreciate that. It looks like a typo there. Debt to asset 62% on PENG. Company doesn't look too bad. The financials don't look too bad at all. Balance sheet, cash and equivalent position of 453 million. That was as of August 29th. Hard assets, 151 million. That'd be property, plant, and equipment, stuff like that. So yeah, they closed the regular session at 21.55. If they get, let me go TradingView here. Okay, they're already getting a move. I think this is just like pre-earnings volatility here. Don't think the data's out yet, but on the daily chart, now they do have a gap to fill up to almost 27 bucks. That was from their last earnings. They gapped down on their last earnings. And they made another leg down. Hit a low of around 17 bucks. Then rallied to 22 and some change. It came back down to just below 20. Now it's trading at 21.58 as of the close today. So, you know, the top of that or the bottom of that gap, you know, if it can get into gap filled territory, I'm just going to call that 23 bucks. So that's going to be my resistance number 1. If they get a positive reaction, I'm just going to put that line right there. That's R1. And if they can get into the gap filled territory, I mean, this could be an easy trade to 27. So R1, 23, R2, 27, if they get a positive reaction. The data should be dropping any minute now. Support level is pretty clear on the daily chart. I'll put it at like 19.50. I like that for S1. S2, 17 bucks. So let's see. We got our lines drawn out. Just going off of price action on the bigger time frames, really. So let me go back intraday on that. Let's see. Okay, it's about 7 more seconds before 4:05 p.m. Eastern. 28 destroying X says you bought air because it Might be a good Columbia play. It's already a solid company. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go over that next. I think we might see some red of the Dow and the Big Seven. You know, that's a good question. I have to say, I mean, we just hit all-time high today on SPY. So, you know, sometimes when we hit all-time high, sometimes it does pull back a little bit. So we'll just have to see what the price action is tomorrow morning for pre-market and kind of go from there. But great job on SPY hitting all-time highs, you know, S&P basically. Let's look at PENG real quick. Then we're going to talk about Airbus. Or I'm sorry, this one here. That's what 28 Destroyer was talking about. Okay, so I got AAR pulled up now on TradingView. Look at PENG, semiconductor company. It's getting an initial positive reaction up to 24. That's like a $3.50 move from where it closed the regular session. Let's see if it can hold on. This is a 15-minute chart, so it's already gone past 23, which was our first resistance line, which was resistance from like the second week of December, on December 10th, really. Well, actually, no, it's going to be back here. This was price action from October, which was the bottom of the gap. So it's technically in gap fill territory, isn't it? That's promising for the bulls. If the positive move holds up, this could be an easy run to 27 to, you know, this gap is kind of like unresolved price action here. So let's see. I'll go back intraday. I'll go 5-minute charts. Fine. All right. So far, positive reaction on PENG. Let's see if I can get their results. Close down this other window and see what we got here, because obviously PENG's data is out. Then we're going to talk about AAR. Well, it's actually ticker symbol AIR, but it's AAR Corp. It's the name of the company. We're gonna look at them here shortly. Then, if I got time at the end of the stream, I want to go over a few spread trades. They opened spread trade on Google up last week, and today I opened up a spread trade on SoFi, taking advantage of that bounce off 26 it had today. So give me 1 second here. Let me refresh my other screen and see if we got the EPS and revenue for PENG. All right, let's take a look. PENG. Okay. All right, looks like I got some data here. So net sales were 343 million, which is up 1% versus 1 year ago. Gross margin of 28%. That's down 70 basis points. Okay, diluted EPS of 0.04. Now, the implied move for PENG is around 15%. So if it closed around 21.50, 15%. So yeah, maybe like $3 move, a little bit more than that. Well, these expected moves aren't 100% science. You know, sometimes we get double the expected move, sometimes we get half the expected move, but it's a good gauge to go by. It's kind of what's being priced in, right? The implied move, expected move, whatever you want to call it. So let me look at a few other things, and then we're going to go over to ticker symbol AIR, which is AAR Corp. Looks like their EPS came in line, though, for PENG. No, actually, the diluted EPS was 49. So they beat EPS, and they beat revenue, because the forecast revenue was 337 million. They just reported 343 million. So double beat by PENG. So it's looking like a grats to the PENG bulls. Right now it's up about 8% in after hours, up just under $2 a share. And I just want to check real quick when they're going to be doing their earnings web call. And then we're going to jump over to AAR and see what's up with them. But let's finish up with PENG first. And I'm just going to go to their investor relations page, and we'll find out when they're going to actually do their call. Okay. PENG investor relations. Okay, let's take a look. I'll keep the PENG's price on the right here. Okay, so here we go here, January 6th. So this is going to be their Q1 fiscal 2026 financial results. And let's take a look here. So yep, they got the net sales of 343 million. So that's up 1% year over year. So they beat sales revenue, and then they also beat EPS, right? So double beat. Here's some commentary from the higher ups. The CEO, his name's Mark Adams. He says in Q1, we expanded our pipeline and made progress on our strategic priorities while delivering solid operating results. We continue to see signs of a shift in the AI market toward enterprise adoption and production scale deployment, with workloads evolving from training environments into inference-driven use cases. This aligns well with our strength in solution design, integration, and management. And Mark Adams, the CEO, continues to say, we remain focused on executing with discipline, deepening partnerships, and innovating across our core businesses. Solid statement from the CEO. I like it. All right. Let's see here. Penguin Solutions reaches agreement to divest remaining interest in Brazil memory module business. And matter of fact, let me post this link here, because I'm not going to go over all the info, but let me put this in the comments. And if anyone wants to take a deeper dive into PENG earnings, go to that link, and then you can see the news section here. Just scroll down right when you get to the homepage, and it's right there. And then you can see everything that I'm kind of going over right now. If you want to take a deeper dive into some of these line items, like what was the net sales comprised of? Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Mahmoud on YouTube. So he was the Micron CEO. Good to know. So he's obviously got plenty of experience. But if you want to take it, let me put this link on Discord too. I can't forget about my Discord people. Got over 200 people tuning in on the socials right now. But yeah, if you want to see, the breakdown of the net sales, the different departments in their company, advanced computing, integrated memory, optimized LED, you can see the sales from all those segments, total net sales, gross profit, operating income, net income, all that stuff. So if you're a PENG investor, you can go to that link on the bottom of my screen, and you can take a deeper dive into this. But they did double beat. They beat revenue and beat EPS. Their actual web call, their conference call or webcast, whatever you want to call it, with the higher ups, that's going to be at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So in about 15 more minutes. If you want to join that call, you just go to that link I posted on the bottom of my screen, and then scroll down, and it's right here where it says latest presentation. There's a PDF document you can download. Archimax says AAR earnings are out. Okay, we're going to go over to that here in a minute. And for PENG, just to kind of wrap this up, there is a 25-page PDF document that kind of summarizes their earnings and all that stuff, that if you're interested in that. But here's the webcast link right here. So just scroll down to upcoming events. It's at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, starts in about 15 minutes. Click on that little webcast hyperlink. It'll take you right to the call. Let's jump over to AAR, because I think most people are probably here for AAR, which is AAR Corp. Their earnings are out. Okay. Getting some bullish readings on some of my indicators here. Looks good so far. Let's just take a quick look at the condition of the company coming into the earnings, and then we'll go over their results and find out when they're going to do their call and all that good stuff. They had a very positive PE ratio, trailing 12 months, super high. Just so everyone knows, this is an aerospace and defense company. They are located in the United States. It's a global aerospace and defense aftermarket solutions company with operations in over 20 countries. The company's parts supply segment consists of its sales of used serviceable engine and airframe parts and components and distribution of new parts. And they have a repair segment, overhaul services, and just another little highlight here. They have the integrated solutions segment consists of its fleet management and operations of customer-owned aircraft, customized performance-based supply chain logistic programs in support of the United States Department of Defense, U.S. Department of State, and foreign governments. And there's a reason they're trading up here by $90. They got some good, looks like they got some good contracts with some governments here. So good stuff on AAR, just learning a little bit about the company. I don't think I've ever traded this one before. Past 2 quarters has been positive net income, so they are pulling a profit as of recent, which is good. Debt to asset only 57%. That's also pretty good. Cash and equivalent only 80 million. Keep your eye on that. For a $90 stock, I'm not quite sure 80 million cash and equivalent is a solid position there, but just keep your eye on their cash and equivalent position. This is as of August 31st. Bit low for a $90 stock, I think, but nonetheless, they do seem fundamentally and financially sound. Let's go back to the chart. Go TradingView. Look at PENG, still holding its bullish move. It's still holding up. Again, 23. That was that level. That's the bottom of that gap. And if the momentum continues on PENG, we were just looking at on the daily chart. You got this nice gap to fill up to $27. So if this holds up into tomorrow, this could be an easy trade to 27. Not financial advice, but if you decide to do like some naked calls or something tomorrow for the gap fill trade, try and get as high delta as you can. If you can get the in the money call, that would be better. Theta's not going to affect you as bad, and you're going to have a much higher delta. So that's what I would do. Or you could do a call debit spread tomorrow. If it's still tomorrow morning, if it's still like around the bottom of this gap territory, maybe a call debit spread up to 27 would be a nice trade. Probably get triple-digit return on that. But let's go back over to AAR Corp, which is ticker symbol AIR. Let's see if we can get their data. EPS revenue, all that good stuff. Let's take a look here. So far it's looking good. Let me just find some good info for everyone. Expected move for AAR is around 8%. So basically trading around $90. So it's 8% of that. It's around a $7 move. We'll see. But so far, getting a bullish reaction. It's looking good so far. I did find a nice graphic here with a lot of good data on it. So I'm probably going to pull that over and we'll go over that. And then we'll find out when they're going to do their earnings web call. And then hopefully I'll have enough time to go over some of those spread trades I recently opened, because I'm sure everyone's interested in that. But here's I will leave AAR on the left over here. Let me just kind of go over this graphic, little summary here. So they beat sales revenue. It's up 15% year over year. Gross profit, they beat that by 9.3%. That's up 22% year over year, 100 basis points. Adjusted operating income, they beat that, up 28% year over year. Lots of green line items here. EPS, they beat that. That's up 31% year over year. There's a few red items down here as far as operating expenses go. They missed that by 4.6%. And operating expense growth year over year, they missed by 510 basis points. But other than that, it looks solid. Let me move this back over. So let me go back to intraday on PENG too, just so we can keep an eye on it. Yep, it's still holding up here. So back to AAR, positive reaction. They double beat. Let me see here. Mahmoud on YouTube. Penguin Solutions will sell remaining 19% interest in Zilia Technologies for $46.1 million. Okay. Be a nice little revenue bump for them. Appreciate the info there. My friend Mahmoud on YouTube. We look for a few other things, and then I'm going to go to their investor relations page and find out when they're going to actually do their call. Had some people buying $100 call options on AAR before the close. A little bit too far out of the money for me, more like a lotto ticket. I like to get my naked options in the money if I can. All right, a lot of the info I'm seeing we kind of already went over. Let me go to their investor relations. And again, expected move on AAR is around $7 a share. It's up about $2.50 a share right now from where they closed the regular session. They closed the regular session at $89.46 a share. All right, I'm going to go to their investor relations, and for AAR Corporation, which is ticker symbol AIR. And let's see if we can get some more. Maybe there's some commentary on there. Sometimes they'll give out some commentary statements before they actually do the call. But let's take a look here. All right, here is their, I'll keep AAR on the left. See if I can make this a little bigger. Okay, investor news. So here's the press release for their earnings. I'm going to put this link in the comments. Give everyone easy access so you don't have to go hunting the link down. I'll put it on the bottom of my screen. Y'all can screenshot that if you want. That's going to take you to their earnings results that you can see for yourself. Got someone on Discord. Do you recommend some stocks for entering long term, like a week or so? Yeah, we can talk about that. I want to go over some spread trades I recently opened first, and if we got time, we can do that. And I'm not sure about your other question. You have to talk to Nikki about that. Something about the stream saying it lasts 3 hours. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But anyways, so the link on the bottom of my screen, and I just put it in Discord. That'll take you to their investor relations and the press release that they just dropped. And you can kind of go through this. We already went over a little bit of this stuff, but sales came in at $795 million. The forecast, pop up. The forecast was $767 million. Okay. So $767 million was the forecast. They reported $795 million. So they beat sales revenue, which we already went over. That's an increase of 16% year over year. And let's see. And again, just to recap what AAR Corp does, they're a leading provider of aviation services to commercial and government operators. All right, and EPS, we already went over. The forecast was $1.02, and it looks like they might have missed the EPS. Nope, the diluted EPS, the adjusted EPS came in at $1.18, so they did beat that. So that's good. Okay, here's the here. Let me put the candlesticks back up because AAR is still going, y'all. It did hit a high of about $93 a share. And it's sitting up here trading just above 92. So the positive move is holding up. And did we already look at some levels on this? Okay, so they're trading at all-time highs. Yeah, so they're kind of, let me go weekly chart on this. Let's see. So 89.46, that's where they closed the regular session. Let's see if I can bring this here. Okay. They're all-time high. Yeah, so they just made all-time high here in after hours from what I'm seeing. Let me just go back a little bit on the weekly just to make sure. I'll just go monthly chart. There we go. Yeah, so they're kind of in no man's land when it comes to resistance levels. There's really no historical price action to go off of as far as resistance goes. So, in a situation like that, I'd probably just be looking at solid, even mental levels. So what's the next big mental level? from where it's trading at now. Above that, it's going to be $100, right? So I probably put my level at 100 just because there's really no other levels to really go off of. So $100 for my resistance level number one on that. And then as far as support, we could probably just use some of these higher lows. It was printing, you know, what was it last week? It printed this one right around $82, $82.50 around there, and probably around 81. Yeah, so you know, a few dollar levels here, like a little ladder. I'd be using those as my horizontal support levels to see if there's any demand there. You know, that's assuming it starts selling off, but so far it's printing a positive reaction. So as far as resistance levels, like on a shorter term view, keep it simple. Maybe, of course, does this company have an options chain? I would think so. Let me see. Yeah, they got monthly options. So sometimes you can line up your support and resistance with the actual strike prices on the options chain. Market makers like to use those. So, you know, I'd probably say 95 and 100 for resistance on air. It's already tapped to 93. Came back a little bit. It's kind of trading on, I guess, overall low volume, but the average volume over 3 months is 364,000. It did have 1.6 million volume today so far. So, you know, it looks like they did have a lot more volume than normal, but just, you know, in the bird's eye view, it looks like they don't really get heavy volume a lot. Oh, Mahmoud, I appreciate it. Just subscribe. Thanks for the support, my friend. I do these earnings streams every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't stream the actual call with the higher ups. I like to come on here before they do the web calls, and we talk about the EPS and the revenue and any guidance. We talk about that for a little bit. We go over some commentary that might have been released before the web call. We find out when they're going to do their web call and how to get there, and just try and make it a little easier on everyone to just get a summary of what the earnings data is. And then you have a good, you know, you have good things in mind if you're going to attend the actual earnings web call, and you can probably, you know, be like a sponge and just see what the higher ups have to say, and kind of go from there. You know, specifically talking about anyone who's like long-term investors in these stocks. But we have a lot of fun. And then usually at the end of the stream, I like going over some recent trades that I've opened and just kind of letting everyone know the types of trades that I've been doing, and the you know, certain stocks that I've been trading lately. So let me go back to TradingView. Pulling back a little bit, but just keep your eye, you know, this is for AAR Corp. Pulling back a little bit, but that's fine. Healthy price action. Just keep your eye and see if it, you know, volume kind of flipped to bearish here for now, but that's okay. Just see if it starts printing some higher lows, you know, and if that's the case, then you should be in good shape going into pre-market tomorrow. And then, of course, to the regular session. So did we already find out when they're going to do their call? I think we were still going over that. So let me just read these statements from AAR, because I know there's almost 300 people tuning in right now. I know a lot of people are here for ticker symbol AIR, which is AAR Corp. Okay, so here's a statement from, his name is John Holmes. He's the chairman, president, and CEO. And he says, AAR delivered another outstanding quarter, achieving solid results throughout all segments of our business and advancing our strategic objectives through our recent acquisitions. Total sales were up 16%. Investors love that. Shows growth. That includes organic growth of 12%, led by our parts supply business with sales up 29%. Within parts supply, new parts distribution had another exceptional quarter with organic sales growth of 32%. Again, investors love to see the growth as we continue to capture market share through our exclusive distribution model. Quite a few statements. Usually there's only a few, but this guy put out a novel here, so we could probably go through most of this before their call. Says, finally, we saw another quarter of increased sales to government customers, which were up 23%. So they got growth with their government customers. We were talking a little bit about that earlier. All right. And then he goes on to say our 16% sales growth translated to 23% adjusted growth as we expanded adjusted margins from 11.4% to 12.1%. Over time, we expect margins to continue to improve as we increase efficiencies in our operations, realize synergies from recent acquisitions, and shift our sales mix to higher margin offerings such as new parts distribution and tracks. Kind of a mouthful there, but he's going into detail with all of this. And then Mark goes on to say, I'm sorry, his name's John. I don't know where I got Mark from. John Holmes goes on to say, during the quarter, we closed on 2 strategic acquisitions, ADI and Parts Supply in, I guess you pronounce it, HACO, Americas, in repair and engineering. The ADI acquisition builds upon our differentiated new parts distribution activities, adds new OEM relationships through its production-facing distribution channel, and expands our range of product offerings. All this seems very positive for them. This is looking good. Again, my levels to the upside on this on the bigger time frame, 95, then 100. Keep it simple. Lines up with the strike prices on the options chain as well. The ADI acquisition builds upon our differentiated new parts distribution activities, adds new OEM relationships through its production-facing distribution channel, and expands our range of product offerings. This acquisition creates a new growth vector for distribution, which has been our fastest growing activity over the last 4 years. In conjunction with acquisition, we secured agreements with key customers totaling approximately $850 million, effectively selling out the acquired capacity for the next several years. That's promising. That's amazing. Our balance sheet remains strong with net leverage at 2.49x, giving us capacity to fund our growth through organic and inorganic investments. And their organic growth was double digit. I'll just conclude with his final comment here. We are executing on our strategy to build on our position as the leading independent provider of aviation aftermarket parts, repairs, and software. We have been achieving above-market growth in new parts distribution, capturing market share in airframe heavy maintenance and component repair, while increasing the efficiency across our operations to improve margins. This is a great commentary. It's not too often we get this in-depth commentary before they actually do the earnings call. This was a lot of information that investors can digest leading up to that earnings web call. And there's just a whole bunch more highlights and updates here on this earnings report from AAR Corp. Lots of great stuff here. So again, let me put that link on the bottom of my screen. That's the link that'll get you to what I'm looking at right now. I got some nice charts and graphics here that explain everything pretty well. And their conference call with the higher, thank you. I think you on Discord, I think you pronounced it Janka Hasek. I think I pronounced that right. But yeah, I appreciate you hanging out. It was good seeing you, and maybe we'll see you next time. So their actual earnings web call is at 4 p.m. Central Time, okay? So, they're not going to have their web call until 5 p.m., which is in about 30 minutes. So if you want to listen in to their web call, again, go to that link on the bottom of my screen, and then you're going to scroll down to where it says events and featured presentations. And you can see the date right here. If you're looking at my screen, I'm kind of circling it with my mouse cursor here. January 6, 2026. And then there's a link here for the conference call, the earnings call. And then if you want like a PDF of their actual earnings presentation, very nicely presented by AAR. It's a 20-page PDF document. You can get that as well by going to that link I just gave everyone. All right, but their call is not until 5 p.m. Eastern, so about 30 more minutes. So we got the reactions on both companies. Both companies have a positive reaction. So it's looking like a congrats. to the AAR Corp bulls and the Penguin Solutions bulls. But with that said, to kind of wrap up the stream here, I want to go over a few spread trades that I actually have open right now. They're currently open. The first one I'm going to go over is on Google. I did open a spread on Google. We'll just go over this just real quick. This is a bull put spread. It's kind of the slang term. The technical term would be a vertical put credit spread. So it's a neutral to bearish, or excuse me, a neutral to bullish trade, which means we don't need a bias move on this. Google could literally trade sideways and this would be a winning trade as long as the underlying price of Google stays above our spread. Okay. I actually opened this up last Tuesday. I did have like 35% profit on the table yesterday. I didn't end up taking it. The expiration date on this is this Friday. As long as Google stays above 310 for the next few days, I should be able to get a lot more than 35% on it. It's basically only 3 trading days until this expires. So not married to the trade. We're just kind of taking it out on a date for dinner. And we'll know how the results of this trade, we'll know the results by this Friday or sooner. So Google was trading around 314 when I opened it. I thought I figured there would be some support around 310 after looking at some of the volume profile and price action and things of that nature. So I put my spread right at 310. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see here. I sold to open the 310 put, and then on the same exact trade ticket, do this all on one ticket, I bought to open the 307.50 put. So that's what formed a $2.50 wide spread. And in the options world, we always times everything by 100. So 2.50 wide, that means you need $250 in buying power to trade this spread. Now, the spread did pay a $71 credit. I was happy with that credit. So to figure out your return on capital, or return on buying power, however you want to look at it, you just take the credit you received, $71 a spread, and then divide that by the buying power used. So that means this spread pays a potential 28% return on capital. And it was only like a 10-day hold. When I opened it up, there was only 10 days until expiration. Now there's only 3 days, right? And we got Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday. So I'll know what's going on with this trade. Like I said, I was up a bit yesterday. I like to get at least 50% or more on these. And that's out of the 28% potential return on capital. So I want to get at least half of that 28% or more. And good risk management technique on this, because I know you can see here it says max loss 179. So I know some people are thinking, oh, you're risking 179 to make 71. Risk reward is kind of not it's not very attractive. But out of the money credit spreads, that's just how they work. Okay. In exchange for the risk reward not being flipped to the side we want it on, is we have a much higher win rate. If you're doing spreads correctly, you should be winning 80-90% of these. Okay, which is kind of where I'm at with mine. So like maybe out of every 10, I'll probably have to, I'll probably lose one or two of them. But super high win rate. But a way to counteract to where you never take this max loss is you could have what I call, this is what a lot of people call that trade spreads. It's a 2x credit received stop loss, because the way to win a credit spread is we actually want this 310 put and the 307.50 put. We actually want those to go to zero. We do want those going to zero. And then if that happens, then we get to pocket the entire $71 credit we received as being the spread seller, basically, right? So that's how credit spreads work. Has a 67% chance of profit. And my break even is basically to figure out the break even, you just take the leg that you sold to open, which is on a credit spread, is always going to be the leg closer to the money. So this was the 310 put. So you just take the 310 strike and then subtract out the credit you received, which was $71 a contract. So 310 minus 0.71. That gives you your break even at expiration. So on Friday, January 9th, in 3 days, I just want Google above 309.29, and this will be a winning trade. Okay. Better yet, if Google's above 310 by Friday, that's where I captured the max gain. There is still a little sliver of profit. Like you see this profit graph here, when it plateaus, that's the max gain of 71 bucks. That's the most you can make on this credit spread. But my break even of 309.29, you can see this little sliver of profit. I always like to point this out because you can still make money on this even if it's below your short strike. So preferably we want the credit spread to stay, we want the underlying price of Google to stay above my entire spread, which would be the 310. But if it does drop below 310 a little bit on Friday, there will still be a little slice of profit between 309.29 and 310. And then of course, above 310, you get your max gain. So, it's always good to know what your break even at expiration is, because that's mainly what all I care about. As long as Google is above 309.29 by Friday, this will be a winning trade. There will be profit there. And then of course, the best case scenario is Google just stays above 310 on Friday, and then I'll get $71 a spread on this. And I did a handful of these. Okay. So that's just, this is a spread I currently have open. Like I say, at the end of these earnings streams, I always like to pull up a recent trade that I've done or a trade that I'm already in. Of course, if you want these trades in real time, you're going to have to join the Discord. That's the only way you're going to get it in real time. So there's links in the description if you want to. You can actually join the free section, just see how you like the free section and go from there. But I do alert these trades in real time to my team over here in the Discord. And also, just to kind of wrap it up further, I want to give something out for free. I like giving free stuff out. If you're looking for 4 high probability trade setups set to your email inbox every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, check that first link in the description. It's free. Don't worry, you're not going to get spammed or anything, because you got to enter your email address in there to get the trade setups every morning. But it's 100% free, and just click that first link in the description, and you can get those the 4 high probability trade setups sent to your inbox every morning at 9. Doesn't even cost a penny. Okay. And then of course, if you're looking for a new home, definitely check out the Discord. And if you end up joining the Discord, tag me in the chat. Let me put my name back up there. I go by the Swinging Bull in the Discord. Tag me in the chat. I'll come by and say hello. Maybe we can chat for a little bit, and there's something I might be able to help you out with, pretty quickly. You never know, right? But yeah, that's really all I got for today. It was fun hanging out with everyone. It's been about 45 minutes. Again, AAR Corp earnings web call starts at 5 p.m. Eastern in just another 15 minutes. And I'll put that link back on my screen because I know most people are here for AAR Corp. But yeah, other than that, my name's The Swinging Bull with PB Alerts. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. If you enjoyed the content, give me a follow on X. I do put a lot of content on my X account. I do put a lot of trade ideas on there. And I do put my updates on, I'm doing a $2,500 account challenge that I put updates on there as well. But yeah, hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night. And until next time, I'll see everyone in the very next stream. Cheers.